Yeah, sometimes you just got to get the old dumplings muck blasting off your chest. But yeah, anyway, so what we're going to do now, I've basically done that, and yeah, it looks doesn't look too bad actually, fellas. I think let's see where we are. Go into now. See, we're in shot because it's not worth them being out of shot. Okay, so basically we've got our aluminium there is going to absorb any H2S all the way up, so it allows, and also the organism growing from the wall can grow from the wall. If there's any biofilm built up, it can grow from the walls. It doesn't have to grow through an environment it doesn't like. If it's growing on the walls, it's an environment it likes. It can grow through the soil there on a horizontal level. It doesn't have to like grow from anaerobic to semi-anaerobic to aerobic. Doesn't have to go through those sort of things. If it grows on the walls, it can grow laterally. So that's what we're going to do basically. Fill up the pot here with our 50-50 mix. So basically the organism will grow into the perlite, being maintained by the reductive flammable gas being generated by the water breaking polystyrene due to 270 nanometers, or basically to the far heat end of the spectrum, which explains why polythene is better than solar weave or solar grow, which reflects the green and the red. Plants don't use the green, but they certainly use the red end of the spectrum, and that's why all the cut and plants colour up in a greenhouse made of polythene sort of thing. And of course polythene is cheaper. Everyone says, oh, it's going to break up, but you know, you can have it for basically 3 seasons and about 3.5 seasons, so as long as you change it before you get into the 4th season, it's very cheap, and so on and so forth. Anyway, the foam sponge in the bottom there acts like a bit of a void or reservoir in a way. Organisms can also build up in that, so on and so forth. And basically the charcoal on the top, you water that and it leaches. Basically my suggestion to you is this leaches nitric acid down there, which in other words it's a food source, and also super molybdate. So the more charcoal you have on the top, the more of that you should be able to leach out and generate and leach out. It's a generator. It's not just leaching out, it's generating and leaching out. But you can't do that, of course, with the super molybdate, because you know you can't generate you know, atoms and elements sort of thing to that extent. But you can fix the nitrogen from the atmosphere in the charcoal. And how does that work? Well, you've got to take your limit on your charcoal, fellas. I mean, Greg Burke says he doesn't understand it, and I'm saying, well, that's because you don't understand what ash is. If you take your limit on charcoal, you end up at ash. And if, as I said, you've got to ask this question: what is ash, and why is it so alkaline? And it also has a lot of other amazing properties too, which they didn't teach me in high school. So you know, at university. So really amazing ones where I reckon they ought to actually have, you know, it should be commonly taught, you know, what do you think of this, and people would go, jaw-droppingly amazing, you know, they'll say sort of thing. So yeah, anyway, we'll see how we go. I don't know if we're going to have too much or just gold. Oh, of course, oh, I buggered it up, didn't I? I did it without the sponge. I did 5 litres without the sponge and 5 litres. Yeah, well, it's accurately measured anyway, so it will come to the lip now. So yeah, sorry about that. You make mistakes sometimes along the way. Oh, hopefully it'll be I don't know. It's going to pack down, I think, eventually with water in, and yeah, I think it may actually turn out to be perfect. So you never know. So we'll see how we go. Yeah, I think it's actually going to turn out to be pretty spot on the money there, fellas. I think. So, yeah. Anyway, so that's basically what it is. You're basically generating and leaching nitric acid down through the soil profile, which keeps the organism ticking over. It's bathed in this nice reductive flammable gas environment generated by the polystyrene, and you prevent the polystyrene from being poisoned because it's a catalyst. Catalysts can be poisoned. You prevent it from being poisoned by H2S and other similar sort of gases by having the aluminium there. It's on the wall, so if anything builds up on the aluminium, it gets washed down the pot out at the bottom, sort of thing. You can actually form a biofilm on the side. The organisms on the biofilm have a much easier pathway to the roots of the plant. Don't have to grow through any zones they don't like, because if they're growing on the sides of the pot, they're in a zone they like, basically, if you understand me there. Does that sound logical, Greg? Hopefully it sounds logical. What about you, Gideon? Anyway, I think that's basically there. We can actually just wash it through, and as you can see, you don't have too much problems with rain splash, but that's not going to be the surface. The surface is going to, and of course this will probably slowly sink down, maybe a centimetre over time, but we're now going to get some of our somewhat sort of chunky charcoal and put it on top, and we're going to try and grow the plants in between, sort of thing. And the idea is also to we're still rolling, so very quickly we can get just try and get out all the chunky bits, if I can. I think that's about it. Run out of chunky. That's why I'm going to have to crush some more with the car, I think, for the next pot. I've asked John Mignano for 2 cephs